From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News Weekend Edition.
Good evening and welcome to our Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. I'm Katie Looper. Our top story tonight. Next Tuesday, the Fairbanks Chamber of Commerce will host a candidates forum for those running for borough mayor. In a note to chamber members, the chamber says one of the 4 candidates has been removed from the list of those participating. The chamber said candidate Corey Jackman will not be included because of what the chamber called his, quote, extensive criminal history. According to court records, Jackman was arrested in 2012 on charges of felony and misdemeanor assault, accused of threatening a woman with a shotgun. The felony charge was later dismissed and the misdemeanor assault was changed to harassment. Next week, Fairbanks Concert Association officially kicks off their 2015 season. Fairbanks Concert Association is known across the interior as an organization that presents unique and well-known performers from all over the world. FCA has brought numerous performers, but it does not stop there. This year alone, FCA will have 9 guest artists and 15 public performances. Some of the headliners this year include Postmodern Jukebox, Eddie Izzard, Capitol Steps, and Blind Boys of Alabama. The season starts Friday, October 2nd at 7:30 in the Herring Auditorium. Tickets are on sale both online and at the event.
Many people have told me that this is the best season we have ever had, and judging by season ticket sales, I think that could be very well likely to be true. Postmodern Jukebox, of course, is our season opener, and we're very excited about that. We got a lot of requests for them, and pulling it off is a major coup, just a major, major coup.
Alaska Governor Bill Walker is calling state legislators into a special session to discuss a proposed natural gas pipeline. Talks will begin in late October, but earlier today, Governor Walker held a press conference to explain his decision. The move would up the state's involvement in the Alaska Liquefied Natural Gas Project. Walker also made a proposal that would tax producers who occupy land on the North Slope but are not developing it. The governor defended criticism that the reserve tax would hurt relations with the gas industry. Walker says he expects this special session to be more productive than efforts in the past because the administration is taking a new approach.
Well, because we're finally trying something different. You know, to do the same thing over and over again with the same result, and that's what we've been doing, is that we've been letting the decision be somebody else all this time. So we're doing it a different approach. I think we need to buy a seat at the table, absolutely, to drive this project.
The downtown bridges were closed today to make way for hundreds of people dressed in pink. Walkers were making strides against breast cancer for the American Cancer Society. It's a supportive walk with lots of pink tutus and clothing. It's the second 5K they've done in Fairbanks so far, and they've almost raised $120,000. Becky Zavril, the event chair, said it was a great way for Fairbanksans to show their support, and remember, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Part of the money raised goes to breast cancer research out of state, and part of it stays local. Zavril said many breast cancer survivors have utilized the Fairbanks Resource Center.
Our money goes to research and funding better medicines and better protocols, but it also goes to local programs. So we can help people here locally that are diagnosed with plane tickets if they have to go out for treatment, hotel lodging, support systems here, rides to treatment, wigs, prosthetics, that kind of thing. We have a cancer resource center here in the hospital that we help our local patients too.
The Fairbanks North Star Borough Animal Control Office will conduct its annual rabies clinic this weekend. It will take place Sunday, September 27th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 2 locations, depending on whether people pre-registered or not. Organizers say mushers and those with multiple animals often take advantage of the one-stop convenience of the borough's rabies clinics. A rabies vaccination is required for dogs in the Fairbanks North Star Borough.
If you're registered, pre-registered, go to the Big Dipper and we'll have a drive-through lane like we've had in the past. It's very efficient. Or if you're not registered for drop-ins or for ferrets, or if you'd like a microchip, come to the animal shelter and we'll take care of you.
When we come back, the Alaska Aviation Task Force rescued a civilian pilot and passenger yesterday when their plane crashed in the Brooks Range. We'll have the details. Also, the United Way fundraising campaign is back, and this week we turn our focus to Access Alaska. Those stories and more when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. Soldiers with the U.S. Army Alaska Aviation Task Force rescued a civilian pilot and passenger involved in a plane crash yesterday in the Brooks Range. The 11th Air Force Alaska Rescue Coordination Center forwarded a request for a search and rescue mission by Alaska State Troopers. Fort Wainwright dispatched a medevac crew in a Black Hawk helicopter to locate the crash. It was located nearly 120 miles northeast of Fort Yukon. The pilot and passenger were found to have sustained minor injuries and were transported to the Fairbanks Memorial Hospital.
Everybody was fine. They basically just had a hard landing, kind of on takeoff. They ran into a riverbank. They were able to get picked up, flown back to Fort Yukon. At that time, my crew took off here at Fort Wainwright and met them at Fort Yukon, picked up the patients, and then flew back.
People were learning how to throw stones across the ice today at the Fairbanks Curling Club. It was their open house for newcomers, and they are getting ready to kick off a new season. So they've invited everyone to come down and learn how to curl. They were giving 10-minute mini lessons to those who have never curled before. But after today's open house, they're offering more classes for those beginners. Denise Cam says it's a sport for just about everyone, ages 5 to 95. And Presley Paget, a first-time curler, said she was excited to try something new.
We have some newcomers. We've had some kids come off the ice just in love with it. The smiles on their faces just make my day. It's fantastic. So they're really excited. We've had a few new people signing up already, and we've only been open for an hour or so. So we're pretty excited to get new curlers on board.
My mom wanted to try something new here because we just moved to Alaska. I think she wanted to try something Alaskan, so we wanted to try curling. And it's actually really fun. It's kind of awkward when you just starting, but it's really fun. I could see myself doing like more lessons like this, but not professionally, no.
Earlier this week, the United Way campaign kicked off their annual fundraiser at the weekly Chamber Luncheon. For the next 21 weeks, we will spotlight the agencies that fall under the United Way umbrella for funding. Tonight, we focus on Access Alaska. Here's Mike Schultz.
Access Alaska was first founded in 1984, and their goal is to keep people active and independent in their community, regardless of any disabilities or hardships. Doug Toll is the advocacy director for Access Alaska, and he says that his agency depends heavily on the United Way for supporting funds.
The United Way allows us to leverage funds to help people stay independent and in the community and active. It allows us to backfill in places where other funding sources won't help, and so we're able to keep people, hopefully working in their home, in the community and active, and it's very important for that.
I asked Doug what he was most proud of working at Access Alaska.
Access Alaska, I like to describe as a civil rights organization that provides services. And we've done a lot of amazing things to help people stay in their homes. We've helped with home modifications, but we also work on system-wide problems that keep people from being independent. It's a little thing, but you go to the fairgrounds now and you see a lot of people in walkers and wheelchairs that 3 years ago were bogged down in the, sawdust or whatever they had for the grounds there. So that's one of the examples of things that we do at Access Alaska. We fix little individual problems, but our biggest goal is to fix the bigger problems so that it helps more people.
Doug feels his agency has had a major impact on many lives in the Fairbanks community.
Bringing people with disabilities into that whole mix of what makes a diverse community. Often we look at diversity as an ethnic or a religious or thing, but it also includes all of those of us that experience disabilities. And I think the thing I'm proud of us on the work I do is bringing disability into that discussion when we're looking at diversity and creating a diverse community and making this community in this state easier for people with disabilities to live in.
The United Way campaign is underway right now, and they would love your donations. Mike Schultz reporting.
Mike Fussel's coming up next with all your local sports action. He's got a rundown on Friday night football, plus a look into the Ice Dogs hockey. Stay tuned.
And welcome back, Interior Alaska. Mike Fussell here with your latest local action. Well, the snow did not stop athletes from getting out this weekend, but we're going to start several time zones away where the Ice Dogs are playing their final game in the NAHL Showcase. While there was no snow on the ground in Minnesota, the Dogs did have to deal with a blizzard. The Brookings Blizzards, that is, and for both teams there was a scoring whiteout during most of the first two periods until about 15 seconds before the second intermission. The Blizzards would be the one to take the charge first and go up 1-0, but the Ice Dogs would answer back in full force in the final period. Caden Cahill found the back of the net just 38 seconds in. He would add another point for the Dogs off of a penalty shot a minute later. And at the final whistle, Fairbanks finishes on top 3-1, winning the showcase. The last Ice Dogs team to do that also took the Robertson Cup. And the Nanook volleyball team hosted another GNAC opponent earlier today. UAF took on Montana State Billings at the Patty Center. The two teams traded points for most of the first set. Alaska's Kenzie Mix set the tone for the Nooks, but it was not enough as the Yellow Jackets pulled away to take set 1, 25-19. In the second, things would get interesting. UAF led for most of it, but the momentum evened out as the set point neared. Billings and Fairbanks hemmed and hawed to a 29-point tie. Then the Yellow Jackets managed to squeeze out 2 points in a row to take the set 31-29. They would do the same in their final round of play and take the match 3-1 over the winless Nanooks. And high school tennis players are now in the postseason. Their regional tournament started on Thursday and finishes today. Athletes from North Pole, West Valley, Lathrop, Monroe Catholic, and Hutchinson High School battled it out in singles and doubles tournaments. In the boys' solo bracket, the Wolfpack's Jared Lees will see his fellow teammate Bronze Garish in the finals. Lees beat out Zach Greenberg with 2 6-0 sets. He's been perfect all tournament. And in the girls' single, Amelia Helms-Leslie made it to the finals last night with a win over West Valley's Roan Wilson. And we already have a mixed doubles champion. The Wolfpack's Trent Chu and Teresa Sample took the victory over James Cardish and Rachel Jordan of Lathrop. They will be moving on to the next level. We'll have full results on Monday for the tennis in the weekend recap with Joe Cook. And high school runners also try to get to the next level at their regional tournament. States is next week, and around the top 10 finishers will be headed down to Anchorage to compete. But today was all about getting there. The Lathrop boys squeezed out a 4A regional title over West Valley by just 3 points. Ty Donaldson took the top spot with a time of 17 minutes and 16 seconds. For the 3A boys, Caleb Corda finished first. West Valley dominated in the girls division, taking the top 7 spots. Jenna DeFalco led the team with her 3rd regional title in the 4A division, and Grace Moore repeats as 3A champ for Hutch. And the West Valley Wolfpack hosted the #1 ranked football team in the state, the Bartlett Golden Bears, last night. But first, all the white stuff that fell during the day had to be plowed off of the field. But despite the icy conditions, Bartlett came out hot. On only their second play of the game, Bartlett's Jordan Pace ran in a TD from the 20-yard line, putting the Golden Bears up early. That would be a sign of things to come. The Wolfpack answered back, though, in the first with 2 Zach Lester passing touchdowns, leaving the score at the end of one, 28-14. Bartlett, though, would start to pull away after that, racking up a total of 688 rushing yards in the brutal conditions. The Golden Bears topple West Valley with a final score of 76-34. And the running game was also key as the North Pole Patriots took on the Kenai Cardinals at home last night. Both teams are considered to be some of the most competitive medium schools in the state, but Kenai showed up, making the game no competition at all. The Cardinals would tally 474 rushing yards. That would be their entire offensive count, all from the ground. Kenai went into the mid-game break with a comfortable 25-0 lead. Not much would change in the second half there, and the Cardinals would win over the Patriots 45-8. And while some teams did get out to tear up the powder on the gridiron, the severe weather did cause some issues. The Eielson Ravens football team was scheduled to duke it out with the Houston Hawks, that is, earlier today, but the game will now be moved to Sunday at 1 in the afternoon at Buck Nydstrom Field. Road conditions on the Parks Highway are what kept the Hawks nested on Saturday. And that about brings us to the buzzer for sports tonight. Don't forget to log on to Twitter and follow us at KTVF 11 Sports for our latest updates. Katie Looper has your weather forecast coming up next. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you next weekend.
Welcome back. So pretty nasty weather conditions out there.
Yeah,
huh?
I mean, last time we talked here on Saturday, they were just a possibility, but now it's a very cruel reality. Snow is here. And is it here to stay?
Sadly, it looks like it's coming in next week too, and not in the best form. Might be like more rain earlier in the week. But let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. We had a normal high today of 49, today's low at 31. Our record high got up to 69 in 1934, and record low of 11 in 1909. Our sun rose at 7:46 this morning and sets at 7:42 this evening. Our daylight equals 11 hours and 52 minutes altogether, giving us a loss of 7 minutes from yesterday. Around the state today, rain showers in Juneau and Ketchikan, same with Anchorage and Kodiak. Yet cloudy skies in Cold Bay around 56, same with Barrow around 30 degrees, and Fairbanks is at 37. For our lower 48 weather today, Seattle's at 65 with sunny skies, same with Vegas and Phoenix, yet hotter temperatures around 100 degrees. As we look over to the east, Dallas is hanging around 91 degrees, and rain showers and lightning in New Orleans at 83, same with Miami at 89, and up there in New York, temperatures around 70 degrees with partly sunny skies. Now for early next week, cooler temperatures in the north, but as you can see, it's getting much hotter in the south. Thunder and lightning storms in the deep south, and humid weather along with showers on our east coast. Now back in Alaska, northern slope, partly cloudy in Barrow and Fort Yukon, mostly cloudy in Nome. Temperatures in the upper 30s for Nome and Fort Yukon, and around 30 degrees in Barrow. Now for our interior area, chance of snow in the morning, becoming rain towards noon across the region, and temperatures all in the mid-40s. Now on our east side of the state, periods of rain across the region, and temperatures in the low 50s for Juneau and Ketchikan. Now on our west side, rain is expected throughout the region, and temperatures in the lower to mid-50s for Bethel and Cold Bay, and 58 in Kodiak. Lastly, for our south central section, rain developing across the region, and temperatures in the lower 50s and 49 in Valdez. Now for tonight's forecast, 31 degrees, chance of rain and snow, and it looks that way for tomorrow, temperatures around 37 degrees. Now for extended outlook, we got 50 on Monday and 40 to 45 for the rest of the week. Our nightly temperatures around 30 to 25 degrees. But like I was telling you, Mike, it looks like it's going to be rain-snow mixture throughout the week.
Yeah, and with those nightly lows, we got to be careful when we're driving, especially rain and snow mixture.
Yeah, it's going to get
slick.
super slick out there.
Right, I've already experienced it a little bit.
Yeah, I was driving up Chena Ridge and I saw 2 cars in the ditch yesterday.
Don't want to be that car.
Yeah,
so
you gotta
just
brake early.
Exactly.
All right, well, that'll wrap up this Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11, or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night and drive safe.